All right, welcome back. This is the second to last week of the quarter. We have one more week, 3 more days, 3.5 full days because Friday's an early close and Thursday there's no market. Thanksgiving. So, really, it's been a big week. This week's gonna have like the last week though. I realized that it's smarter to not do like this quarter system and switch to a yearly system. And this is really because in a quarter system, I did a quarter, and then it would either be 1 to 3 weeks of like not a break because I'd still be doing stuff, but it just wouldn't be a quarter. Um, and then I would start a new quarter, resetting the performance value in that quarter to um, zero, and then it'd be another 3 months, and then the break, and then 3 months. Now, what I want to do is just continue throughout the whole year, and then it resets by the year. And that year date is when I started, which I think was 9/23. So at that date, I just reset it, and then it starts to zero. And so now each quarter, the performance on the title is going to be the full um, performance of since the start of the year, which was 9/23. So 9/23 to whatever date it is. And it's better because it has all the weeks into account. So, for example, like last year, all the quarters, the percentages, like all the quarter percentages, they added up to more than the yearly performance, and that's because it didn't take into account like 4 weeks. And so those 4 weeks, that sometimes they have a big difference. So I just kind of want to have it all together, and it's easier for the viewer, and I don't have to make so many videos because, let's say, I don't have to do a quarter end video. I can just have a weekly video with like the information of the last 3 months, kind of just add it in there like some slides, and then just go back to the weekly videos instead of doing a weekly video, a quarter video, and then a year video. So I can just do one video instead of, sometimes three. So that's what I'm going to do, and it needs to be better and easier to understand. So here we go this week. Big week. So it was a really big week, and it doesn't seem like we changed that much. We gained like 0.6, but it's quite significant considering this Nasdaq lost 3% this week. SPY almost lost 2%, and same with the Dow. So you can see the Nasdaq's just been losing a lot, and that's what I've expected since last Tuesday. I started that short then, and it's been doing really well. And the problem is, you can when you lose money, right? You have to, like, let's say you lose 50%. Well, you have to gain 100% to get that back. So, for example, the portfolio, it starts at 60/40, and that 40, if it loses, like for example 50%, you only have 20%, but you still have that 60%. So really, from the original, you only have 80% of your portfolio back. So let's say you're only trading with that 20%. Now that 20% has to have the effect of covering the 60%, and it has to, if you want to gain, so you have to gain double, right? To go back to the 40. So if the Nasdaq loses like 3% or SPY loses 2%, to get that money back only from the 20% that you would have, you have to earn a lot more than that 20%. So for example, in the last trades, I think I gained like, had a low of like -23, and then on Friday we were actually around -16, which is really good. And then there's just a reversal on Friday. But we gained 3%. I think, in the best case, we were gaining 3%, and SPY had lost around 1% that day. So it was around what, 3%. So I think I was gaining around like, I think it was gaining around maybe 30%, around 40% on that trade at that time. So it's, you have to learn, I have to earn a lot more to like go against that SPY value, and it's a bit, that's why it's a lot harder to recover when you're down. So bullish wise, Monday we might get back to the -16, and then we might end the week around like -13, -10. That would probably be a best case scenario. But I don't really care that. I mean, I do care, but I don't care as the quarter, because the quarter is not really ending. It's still continuing because I'm kind of done with that system. So it lets me think in a longer term view. And each week is like going to count into the performance value. So if we have a week after the quarter ends, that's really good for us. Then it's counted into the quarter or the yearly performance. So that's my plan, and that's why it's just a lot harder to gain. But everything's been going how I wanted, and that's why we're not down like 30%. If I would have kept on holding, we'd be down probably 30 or even more. So that's why it's always better to just switch, and we're actually gaining. Letting us have the possibility of going -10 or even 0 in a couple months. So that's the whole point, and I think it's going pretty good. So 0.6, and that Nvidia did have a lot of damage onto the market, but my charts, they did move, but they weren't as much I would have thought. So it was okay, but I was expecting Nvidia to reverse, and that was good. So here we have Nasdaq. Nasdaq's at 3.1% overall, not much. It could lose it in a week and go red. That's totally possible. But typically bear markets, they don't. If you're in a bear market, they have down days, you have neutral days, then you have a little bit of up, and then it goes all the way back down. So you just gotta be patient. But here we have SPY, and then SPY is 60%, 0.16 this week, and negative 1.9. So it didn't quite fully get -2%, but it was really close. And on Friday, it was losing a lot. It did recover, but it would have been close to -3 actually. Over here, you have SPY overall, so 4.38% of days and almost 3.9. So it is outperforming the Nasdaq. Dow did pretty good. It still lost around -1.9, but it's at 3.7% overall. And here you have everything. So Dow is still the lowest, but interestingly, Nasdaq is lower than SPY. So you didn't really see that only until the beginning of the quarter, which doesn't really matter that much. But now that you typically see this when the market, obviously starts losing, and the tech-related stuff goes down more, which has been happening, and then you have the SPY not losing as much because it isn't as tech-heavy. So that's basically why. Here you have it says decreased low, which is good. I guess increased. And then over here you have the weekly daily percent gain. So Monday was good, Tuesday was annoying, it was just fine. And then really Wednesday, Thursday were really good, and Friday was really good until at the end, which the last half end. But yeah, so a good week, not bad. 42.2, Green Days did increase. Profitable trades is around 60 right now. I haven't closed my current trades, so that's why it's at 55, but not much it's around 60, I think. And the gains did decrease a little, but our losses did increase, so it's gone in the higher negative value, which is better. And SPY, or standard deviation, also decreased. SPY's losses are quite high, I guess quite low, I don't know, depends how you want to say it, and gains are not too high. Standard deviation did increase a little bit for SPY. And our differences from last week are better, which is good, even after I lost all my gains. But, and also the standard deviation is going lower. So I think at one point we were maybe even around 6, I think. I'm not too sure, but it has been decreasing quite a lot, which is great. And here you have Sandisk transactions have been decreasing. Day trade has been decreasing. I've just been holding. The beta has decreased a lot from last week, so 0.4 less. So, if we could get 0.4, which I don't think, but each week, then we could, recently, maybe in around a month, we could be around 0, which would be nice. That would be really good to have. Now that it says current beta 4 quarter, I just realized, these titles over here, they're going to have to be like for the year, because it's going to be like a year performance, so that's what it's going to have to be. And yeah, now this quarter did start on 8/25, and it's most likely going to end, if I do like a year thing, I would probably just do 8/25, and how would I do it? I could do 8/25. That would be a full year, but then I still have 1 month of time for it to like fully reset until that 1 year. One option is just using 8/25 as my year date. The problem with that is the last year it wasn't 8/25, it was 9/23. So what I think I'm going to do is just do a year video at 8/25, and then that 1 month of time in between then and the year, I would just continue it just like a regular, and then that performance will probably just I would reset it at 8/25, and then I guess reset it again at 923. Could do that. Or I could just leave an extra month in there and just ignore it. And then do a yearly review from 823, which would make more sense. So it's kind of just this first year that I'm changing it. It's kind of messing it up. I think I'll just add an extra year to the performance on the title. And when I do a yearly performance review, it'll be from 923. Yeah, I'll probably just do that. Makes it easier because then I don't have to, if I do 825 again, that's going to be kind of annoying. So, yeah, I'll probably do that. Alpha, I mean, we're negative, so it doesn't matter. And overall, negative 20.48. As I said before, we were not in the negative 20s midday Friday, but didn't want to end like that, so there we go. And last week of the quarter, I think like at this point the quarter thing doesn't really matter, so I'm going to switch all like these things to year and stuff. But I'm just gonna, the performance is gonna be the title, and it's just gonna be since I started. And yeah, it's just a little confusing this year because I have that 1 month 825 to 923. That's gonna have to be in the title, but it's gonna be a bit 1 month more than a year, so it's a little misleading. That's why I kind of thinking of resetting it's a good idea, just because it wouldn't be as confusing. But like to do it correctly, what I would do is I would have to make the percentage from 923. Now, if I do it from 923, the data here starts from 825. That's the issue. So that's why I think it's better if I do 825 to 825, a year review, and then I reset it that 1 month, and it's just like a transitory month, and then I start actually. So yeah, I just do something like that. I just do something like that where it 825 825 do like I don't do the yearly video, but I just say like this is like the full year since I started this quarter, and then I just have that 1 month where it's just that 1 month gain or loss, and then I do a full year from 923 and just do that. I think that's better. I'll think about it more then, but I think right now just doing the weekly thing is better instead of months. And yeah. Okay. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you next week. Next week is Thanksgiving. Maybe some weeks I don't do a video, so then I just have 2 weeks performance in one. I could do that. If there's like I'm busy 1 week or I can't just make a video for whatever reason, so I might just do that. And good. So everything's going pretty good. Bullish wise, we could end, or I guess bearish for the market, we could end around -10. That'd be really nice. I think that's probably the most realistic way to close this quarter. But it doesn't really matter right now because the quarter system, I'm taking away. So yeah. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you next week. See you.